Hey, this is Tim from Evolve Fitness and Nutrition. Today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is a method of eating where you choose to confine your eating to a certain window of time and the rest of the day you're fasting. The most popular method right now that I know of is the 16-8 method, where you fast for 16 consecutive hours and then you confine your eating to 8-hour window. That doesn't mean that you're eating for 8 hours straight. That means that's the only time of the day where you are allowed to eat. So the most popular way of doing that is to begin your fast at 8 p.m. and not eat again until 12 p.m. on the next day. And then you have between noon and 8 o'clock on that next day to eat your food. So in effect, this allows you to kind of skip some calories throughout the day, which could help you to cut calories out if you want to. So if you're used to eating, say, 2,500 calories and 500 calories of that was breakfast, if you cut out breakfast and don't eat until noon, you've eaten 2,000 calories for the day. That could lead to a 500 calorie deficit. Do that for 7 days in a row, you should lose about a pound. Or you cut those 500 calories out and you can use that later on in the day if you have a special event. So if I know I have a party to go to at night and I skip breakfast, I know that that's at least 500 calories that I could eat later because I did not eat them in the morning. Now, you're not going to avoid the laws of thermodynamics on this one, meaning that you need to eat less than you burn in order to actually lose fat. So skipping a meal is a way to do that, but fasting in and of itself is not going to make you lose weight. You still got to make sure you're in a calorie deficit. So now that we know kind of the basics of it, let's go into the do's and don'ts. When you're fasting, you can drink water or coffee or any kind of beverage that does not contain calories. Sometimes amino acids, tea, coffee, as long as you're not adding sugar or anything to it. Another good way of fasting is to drink a whole lot of water and chew some gum if you kind of get distracted or you feel hungry. The biggest thing is that you got to get used to not eating all the time. And a good way, even if you're not going to fast regularly, if you spend a couple of weeks getting used to it, your appetite will be a whole lot easier to control. Because some people, after they eat, a couple hours later, they're extremely hungry because they're used to eating all the time. If you train yourself to fast, it won't feel like a mad dash to get to the fridge once you get home from work. So the emotional side of it is beneficial to you. So intermittent fasting can help you get a better relationship with food. If you're using food as a reward or like a coping mechanism or something like that, fasting can help you get a lot more control of that. So if you're trying to lose weight, you could use fasting to cut out a meal. If you're trying to get to an event where you know you're going to eat more, cutting out a meal and fasting can help you to do that. Things that you don't want to do when you fast is don't panic. You're going to feel hungry. It's okay to feel hungry. You're not going to die. You're not going to lose muscle. You're not going to have zero energy. The whole point of your body storing fat for energy is so that you could have energy when you do not supply food to it. So in theory, as you fast, you could be tapping into the fat that you have stored, and it's more likely than if you have food available. Now, of course, you're still not avoiding the laws of thermodynamics, like we said earlier, but I mean, that's pretty good theory, right? Why would your body use the fat that you have stored if you're always giving food to it? Day in and day out, every single hour. If you train it to expect food, it's going to be probably more efficient at burning food. So fasting could be a way to just kind of control your appetite, to control your eating habits. You don't have to be worried about exercising when you're fasting. It hasn't been proven to be a detriment to your performance at all. And if it is, it's probably just in your head, and I can relate to that. I feel like I could do any type of cardio when I'm fasted, but I don't feel that good lifting when I'm fasted. But that's probably just in my head because studies show that it doesn't really affect performance. Now, we're not talking about competitive athletes or anything. We're just talking about regular gym performance in this case. So think about it. Fasting could be a good way to help you maintain or lose some body fat. You still need to set your calorie goals, set your macro goals, and then choose the window of time where you're allowed to eat and when you're not allowed to eat. Make sure you're not too rigid with it. After you spend your couple of weeks getting used to it and knowing that you can do it, it's okay to jump in and out of fasting whenever you want. You could even do a 24-hour fast once a week or twice a week. You could do a 48-hour fast even if you wanted to. That just kind of helps you to reset, get everything back to normal. Good times to fast are after holidays or before holidays, or special events that you have coming up. If you're thinking about it, I would definitely encourage you to try it. This is Tim from Evolve Fitness and Nutrition. We'll talk to you next time.